Welcome to my first bit of footage actually filmed in the new studio. You'll be able to see off to the corner behind me over here that there is some new carpet on the floor. I'll show you that in a second. But before I tell you the story of the carpet, I wanted to quickly give you an idea of how I ended up in this space, how the studio became available to me. So the channel, whilst it's growing beautifully, and that's thanks to many of you, and thank you so much, it's growing well, but it can't afford a space like this. How this came about was my wife had put on a new staff member in her business. She needed offices in order to have staff members come and work with her. And she previously had a team that was more virtual and she wanted somebody in the office with her. She took out some temporary offices at the same time as she put on this new staff member to have somewhere to go, and then took out a lease on this property as well. What ended up happening was they loved the interim offices so much they wanted to stay there, but she'd also taken out a 3-month lease on this space here. And so technically, this space is currently sponsored and paid for by my wife's business, which is awesome of her. But we both thought it was going to be a huge opportunity for me to expand the channel into areas I've previously been unable to do because it's been entirely out of my single office at home. And our home doesn't really have any spaces for speaker setups. So this opens up the opportunity to get into speakers in a way that was never going to happen in our home, because all of the spaces where you would put speakers in terms of fixed walls are all glass, and anywhere that would otherwise suit that wasn't glass is a thoroughfare. It's a place that you're going to be walking through all the time. So that's why I've never done speakers in the past. Also having a 5-year-old and previously a 4, 3, 2, 1-year-old, I didn't want to have expensive speakers as floor standers that little fingers can poke in dust caps and tweeters and stuff like that. So this changes all of that. I can now do proper speaker reviews, and that's what the future is going to hold. I'll still be doing all of the headphones, headphone amps, DACs, DDCs, streamers, you name it, but adding in speakers and power amps as well, and therefore preamps too. That's how the space came to be. So thank you very much to my wife. And I hope now what I'm sort of looking to do is have the channel grow into the space, so to speak, in terms of the scale and size of the channel, to be able to then pay for the space as we transition it out of my wife's business and into this one. That's part one. Part two is the story of the carpet. I tried to do this on the cheap initially. As I've already said, the channel can't really afford this space yet. And so I tried to go cheap. We went to a place that sells secondhand carpet tiles. I was in a bit of a rush. I had my son with me. We had the dog in the car, so we couldn't leave him for too long. Obviously, we made sure to keep the car running so he was cool, but I didn't want to leave him for too long. And I chose carpet tiles in a hurry based on the price, without understanding that when you buy secondhand carpet tiles based on price, you're getting high variation in quality. So a lot of them were heavily soiled. You'll see the footage on the screen. They looked really, really bad. This is called sound treatment on a budget. Whole lot of used carpet tiles, some in good condition, some not so good condition. We're going to take them inside and start laying them down. I bought extras so we can discard any that are really dodgy, and we'll obviously hide any that are really dodgy under rugs and stuff like that as well. But this is the beginning of it. So let's start laying some carpet tiles. Okay, doors closed, we've got no outside noise now. I've turned off all kind of noise cancellation from my microphone, and this is the sound of the room. As you can hear, it's pretty echoey still. What we've started to do is lay down some carpet tiles, but I've hit a few problems here. One of the problems is that they're secondhand carpet tiles because I am working on a budget, and in doing so, what we've ended up with is a really like a big mishmash of some that are really worn, some that are quite dirty, some that are fairly clean. I don't know if it's going to look an absolute disaster at the end. I did plan to put down rugs. I don't know if the rug is going to be enough to cover up the unevenness of what we've got. I'll show you what I mean. So these are the carpet tiles, as I showed you in the car before. They're now inside the office space, and I couldn't see all of them at the time they were being chosen. They were just in a big stack. As you can see, when I've started to put them down with the help of my wonderful son, they are really, really mixed bag. So I've got extras. We can go through and replace tiles to try to get somewhat more consistency, but it's currently not looking good. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but for now we're going to push ahead and we're going to see what happens. one of the reasons we didn't go down the path of getting just full carpet on the floor in here is because of the wooden flooring that was already down. In order to put carpet down, they would have had to rip up all of the existing flooring. It would have made it way more expensive. Otherwise, carpet would have been my first choice. As it is, I'm not sure that this is going to be a good choice, but we're going to finish the tiling process and just see what it does for the sound. Then we're going to play a bit of a game of mix and match. We'll take out the dirty tiles, try and put in cleaner ones, rotate them around to try to match them up better. But it may also be that it just looks dreadful, in which case I'm prepared that we may end up selling the whole set of tiles again back on Facebook Marketplace and go down another path, I'm not sure. Or the other possibility is that we will just carpet and kind of rugs and stuff over the top to make it look a bit better. We'll see. So this is with all of the tiles in place, and you can see how shabby it looks with all of the dirty old used tiles. I'd wanted to go a darker coloured tile with a bit of colour, but my choices were limited. The reason I chose this tile was A, because I had enough of them, B, it's got this really nice solid, thick, sort of spongy underlay, which I thought would help with the sound. And it's definitely helped. If you compare this to the previous video, and I'll chuck in some footage here from the previous video now, another thought I had was to put the speakers up towards the front windows, but I've gone against that idea. So this is the same sort of footage now. I've got the studio behind me. You can hear my voice is still echoey, but it's definitely not as bad as it was. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong place in the camera. It's not as bad as it was in the first video. So the carpet's helped. There's a lot of work to be done. These brick walls are going to get some treatments, diffusers behind any speakers, and otherwise various absorption and diffusion along the walls where appropriate. But as you can hear as I walk around, the sound's better now. It's less echoey, and so we've got proof of concept. Final process now is we've got all of these leftover tiles. We may go through and play a little bit of jigsaw puzzles, working out which tiles are really bad, like that brown patch over there, and swap those out for some better looking tiles. We'll have a think about whether we bother doing that. Or we see if we can go back, return these tiles, maybe swap them over for something that's a bit darker, and it's going to cost more money because the more premium used carpet tiles are about $220, $330, all the way up to $550 per tile. These were just $1.10. And as I said, I'm trying to work on a budget here. Thankfully, the wonderful people at that shop were kind enough to take back the original set of tiles because I hadn't cut them or anything like that, but the look of it was dreadful. And so we ripped them all up, we took them all back, and they happened to have a whole lot, like a pallet load of tiles that were all brand new tiles, but still reduced price because it was obviously something they'd bought excess from a company that had used most of them. And that's what you now see. We're back again for another round, and these are all brand new carpet tiles. So I'm about to start laying them down. I've got the help of the family to get them all into the new studio and laid down. This is the new carpet.
My wife made me buy.
Yes, my wife made me buy. After the disaster the first time, I decided to go from being cheap to investing a little bit more money in it. One thing that's worth noting from a sound point of view is that these don't have the same level of padding on the bottom, so I'm not sure how much impact they're going to have on the sound compared to the others, but I want the place to look respectable as well, so that was an important part of the decision-making process. don't think these tiles are quite as good on the sound deadening, but they're way better than the hardwood floor. And so what we've now got is there's a layer of foam underneath the hardwood planks that are down. It's like a vinyl flooring of some sort or an engineered flooring. Then there's the flooring itself, the fake timber flooring. Then we've got the carpet tiles on top. So you've got the rubber backing layer and then the carpet layer on top. So we've got multiple layers helping to break up the sound, and it's doing a really good job. So really happy with that. I've already explained to you, or I'm about to explain to you, I think in the video, depending on how I edit this, what the next steps are, and looking forward to all of your feedback and input. So the old carpet is out, the new carpet is in. You're currently hearing the sound with no noise cancellation at all applied in the microphone I'm using, and so this is the sound of the new space. It's a bit better. It's not finished yet, but it's a lot better than it was before. So let me give you a quick look at new flooring. This is the new flooring. Much better than the old flooring. It's actually clean. It's a bit stylish, hopefully you agree. And the next step from here, the next plan is this window is going to get floor to ceiling blockout curtains. There's also going to be frosting on those panes, 1, 2, and the door. We'll have frosted glass so I can lift it up and let the natural light through. So those will be block-out curtains for speaker listening. Based on all of your advice, and thank you to everybody who provided their thoughts and feedback, I think this is going to be the speaker listening space. So we're going to have speaker 1, speaker 2. The distance of this wall for anyone playing along at home is going to be roughly 4.5 meters, I think. It's 5.5 across the entire length. So take out the door section there because there's a ramp when you come in, so we can't have speakers going down there. And no, the carpet's not finished yet. So this will be the speaker wall just here, is the plan. Then I think we're going to have a setup for headphones, etc. there. Maybe 2 of them, I'm not sure. Probably another one over here. And what hasn't changed is that the back section over here will still be my office working space. Ignore where the lights and the chairs are at the moment. Once again, welcome any input, any advice, suggestions, etc. There will be full sound treating, so I'm not stopping at curtains. I know I just mentioned curtains, but that's not the end of it. There will also be, in addition to curtains, there's going to be some diffusion, some sound absorption placed down in various places. So I'm just seeing the traffic going past. So there's a lot more to be done. The next step is the curtains. The frosting on the window goes in next Friday, based on when I'm recording this, which is on a Saturday the week prior. Then I'll start moving everything in and get a feel for it. As soon as that's done, I can bring my speakers in and take some measurements and actually see what the room sounds like from a measurement point of view. Get some RT60 scores, which is the decay scores of how long the sound bounces around in here at different frequencies, and I'll share all that with you as well. So thanks for coming on the journey. Again, let me know in the comments any further suggestions, and I'll keep you updated with the next one soon.